we have this really interesting opportunity tonight. Part of the UMindfulness initiative is, of course, the speaker series. Today, we bring and have the opportunity to listen to Dan Harris, who has a wonderful book that is making its way across many, many interesting circles and many, many interesting conversations. As you may know, Dan, where is Dan? Good. Dan is it's good to know you're in the room, Dan. Dan is an Emmy Award-winning ABC correspondent. He's been covering wars in that very tricky and challenging environment for many years. He is co-anchor of Nightline and of the weekend edition of Good Morning America, and he is the best-selling author of this New York Times 10% Happier. I think this book is a treasure. I think this book is a treasure. I think it comes at an extraordinary opportunity. I loved reading this book. The reasons, among many, that I love reading this book are because Dan, who has a really great job, who's really great at his job, who's been doing it for a while, who has a national reputation, who reaches a national audience, gets to meet with and talk with a lot of very interesting people. And so this book is really his narrative. It's his story, sort of, if you will, around and navigating through and into mindfulness, something that many of us are richly a part of or beginning to explore or just interested in. And so he weaves throughout this narrative these conversations that he has with these very interesting people. People the likes of Deepak Chopra, of Eckhart Tolle, and he shares with us sort of his take on it. He's very real, he's very authentic, he's very genuine. You read it and you are a part of that story. And if you're into mindfulness and the really extraordinary and great teachers that we have still among us today in the West, he has these very interesting sort of behind-the-scenes interactions and conversations with the likes of luminaries such as Joseph Goldstein and Sharon Salzberg. And what I think is really interesting is that as you read this and you go along with his journey, which might in many ways parallel your journey or your interest and fascination, his aha moments, and he's very deliberate and beautifully writes about these moments, can become your moments, or you join with him in the insights that he realizes become something that deepen your own understanding of this very interesting and challenging terrain of mindfulness. So, I think one of the other things that I take away from this book that I can't help but not, even upon reflection, is it is hysterical. Dan has an extraordinary wit, a great humor, and he, I guess because you're able to take these big stories and break them into these very short, meaningful ways of sharing them with people across the world, you're able to do that in this book. And so I can't go but maybe 4 or 5 pages without laughing out loud, genuinely laughing out loud, which is something I don't always do, or have a big smile on my face. And that's very compelling to be a part of this kind of a story. So Dan, thank you very much for writing this book. Thank you for writing it at this time. And thank you for being here today to be with us and to tell us a little bit about this really important material that you have put together and share with us. So please, if you all would, join me in welcoming Dan Harris.